Our next speaker is Mr. Hildenbrand.
Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Dr. Zacariah Hildenbrand. I'm here representing Inform Environmental LLC and also the Collaborative Laboratories for Environmental Analysis and Remediation at the University of Texas at Arlington. I'd like to talk a little bit about some of the research that my team has done over the past 5 years, trying to understand the relationship between unconventional drilling and environmental quality. When we're talking about unconventional drilling, we're talking about hydraulic fracturing, the stimulation process. We're also talking about shale acidization, which is using large quantities of volatile acids to dissolve rock and acquire hydrocarbons. And then we're also talking about the sequestration of these waste fluids in underground injection wells. The environmental concerns are numerous. They include concerns over air quality, human health, soil quality, groundwater surface quality, as a result of the use of large quantities of industrial fluids, chemicals, and then obviously the concern about gases. My team has done extensive research in the Eagle Ford Shale, illustrating that flaring stations, for example, are contributing to benzene, toluene, ethylbenzene, and xylene isomers into the air, which are being concentrated into soils. However, I'm going to focus primarily on our latest groundwater research throughout the various shale formations in Texas. In 2011, we did a study which basically found as water wells got closer to gas wells that had been stimulated by hydraulic fracturing, that the concentrations of heavy metal ions increased significantly. We're referring to primarily arsenic, strontium, selenium, and barium. And in some cases, we found the levels of arsenic, which is a highly carcinogenic ion, to be 16 times above the EPA's safe drinking water standard. We followed up with a 2014 study where we collected 550 water well sites from either private water wells or from public water supply wells feeding small townships. And basically, what we found was quite shocking, actually. We screened the water for 15 different metal ions, anions, dissolved gases, and also 40 different volatile organic carbons. As you can see here, I have the analytes that we detected color-coded. We have the ones in red that were above their respective drinking water standards. Benzene was detected 34 times out of the 550 samples above the drinking water standard of 5 parts per billion. And we also found dichloromethane, which is an industrial cleaning agent, to be above the drinking water standard in 121 of the 550 samples. We also detected a number of different compounds, alcohols, chlorinated species, and again, organic solvents, some of which there are no regulated maximum contaminant limit, but again, we are finding these things in the parts per million range. Contaminants of particularly concern, benzene, trichloroethylene, dichloromethane, cyclohexane, and chloroform. These were found in a higher frequency in the counties where there is more unconventional drilling and hydraulic fracturing ongoing. In some cases, these chemicals were found exclusively in the Barnett Shale versus our samples that were collected as control sites outside of the Barnett Shale where there is no stimulation ongoing. As you can see, some of these constituents, benzene, for example, can trigger ALL, acute lymphoblastic leukemia, can also trigger chronic myeloid leukemia. Some of these other things can trigger other blood-borne cancers and a series of other abnormalities and can have a deleterious effect on one's health. Interestingly, is these constituents that we found in the Barnett Shale are the same constituents that we found in our time series analysis in West Texas. We collected measurements before, during, and after the inception of unconventional drilling in this region, and it was only until after drilling had commenced that we were able to find these compounds, particularly dichloromethane and some of these other organic solvents, in the water. It was only after the drilling, and as the water was clean prior to drilling. All of this research has really pointed us into a subsequent time series analysis in Parker County, which I believe commands our undivided attention. In this region, we have found a large amount of volatile organic carbons in higher frequency than any other region that we've ever seen. We've seen explosive levels of gases in the water, which are vented off some of these wells and are also in the dissolved gas form. And we've also found that the dissolved gases in the water have a compositional and isotopic match to the gases being extracted from the nearby gas wells. So from my perspective, this is some of the most conclusive evidence that anyone has ever seen as to whether or not unconventional drilling has affected groundwater. And again, I believe it commands our undivided attention. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
It's a serious question. Are people affected, or is there groundwater affected by hydraulic fracturing in the area?